So, hello everyone, and welcome back to Factorio. Let's click resume, and where we last left off, we were on Fulgora. We had kind of technically automated recyclers and electric towers. Now let's also get a drone port in. We're not going to have like good drone coverage, but we can have some at least. Now, Fulgora support, we need a resupply of like power poles, among other things. So we're gonna have Fulgora support go out to get those. So let's get power poles added on to the list of things that we need. What else is it? Oh, bulk inserters, we need those. So let's get some of those requested. And we might even go stack inserters. Who knows? Okay, what else is in our main inventory that we're low on? Basically fine otherwise, I think. None of the hotbar stuff at least. Alright, so the power is a bit sketch, it seems. So we're going to need more lightning rods and or more accumulators in order to keep power running stably. Okay, so we have this setup which makes the lightning rods and the recyclers. And the next technology step here is electromagnetic plant, which we have to craft holmium plates for. Now, how do you do that? First you get holmium solution, then you just make it into an assembly machine. Okay, so we have the holmium ore there, we have water there, and stone here. So step one is chemical plant. A chemical plant is going to take from the ice and let's see, we're gonna have to move the drone port slightly. You can be up there now. Alright, so now the ice goes here, and we melt it down to water. And we power it up. I have to swap to using a substation soon, which is fine. So we have water, and we have stone, and we have holmium. So let's get that going underground so that we can access the stone. So we do that. Then we just get this as well. And we are going to bring it over this way. And I guess it can merge up onto the same belt as that. So then, to get the holmium solution that is also in a chemical plant. So we will pop that in up there, I guess. Connect it up to the water, and then connect it up to the solid inputs. And you make holmium solution. And then we get a bit of a gap, so that if we want to expand this out a little bit later, we can. And wait, no, this is a fluid, right? Yeah, this is a fluid. So that is holmium plates. And that goes across like that. And now we're out of power poles. We can still just use substations, obviously. So let's just get that in. And Fulgora support is back at Novice. So that's all good. We might need more pipes, actually. That's something else to request. Another, just like 200 pipes, maybe? should be perfectly manageable. Alright, so now we have this, which can output to a box and give us all of that stuff. So this is 10 per second, that's 25 per second. This is 20 water, that's 1 water. Alright, so this should be all clear. Now let's get more lightning rods in. Just simply for power reasons. And we're going to have to connect this up with substations, annoyingly. Alright, so that lightning rod will hopefully get the power filled up more. And then we also apparently need more accumulators. Do I have more accumulators? No. Does this have more accumulators? No. Alright, so we need to go back to Fulgora support and request another couple stacks of accumulators. Where are those? Are they in production? Yes, they're up here near the top. Alright, so we're going to request that. And we finished the electromagnetic plant research, which means that we should be able to craft those now. So supercomputers take a lot of stuff, electrolytes and supercapacitors. I don't know why we would want any of those, but whatever. I'm sure I'll figure out soon. So the electromagnetic plant is something. I have no idea what it's for. Critical for electromagnetic research and processes. Well, it's got productivity of plus 50%, so whatever you can do with it, you're probably going to want to do with it. But we're going to need 150 holmium and 50 refined concrete. Alright, did I bring over refined concrete at any point? I also had this over here. Did I pick everything out of there? Everything relevant, it looks like. We actually have a bunch of power poles and bulk inserters over here, so I'd better go over there and pick those up. Just so that we have them. Alright, down we go. And then we just grab this box. Grab power poles. Bulk inserters, fast inserters. Long-handled inserters. And what else is in here that we even need? I think we're mostly fine on that stuff. I don't know. Probably gonna have to come back and pick more of that stuff up later, but this should be okay. So now we just scurry back up here. And how is power going? Still just have a problem with accumulators. So that's something. So up to 94 of those. How do you make refined concrete again? It's the whole process. You need iron sticks, steel plates, and water. Okay, so in order to get iron sticks, we need to take some of these gears, and this is definitely not a good way of doing this, by the way. So we take some of the gears, flip that up there, and then we take a recycler, which... Wait, we need to make sure that only gears get up to this point. So this is going to be filter gear wheels. And then this, I guess, will just loop back in or something. I don't know. We'll figure out what to do with that later. Alright, so now this only carries gears forwards. Let's pick that last concrete off. Pop the gears into that. So now we have iron plates. And we can then turn those iron plates into iron sticks. Like that. And then, what do we need to make the electromagnetic plants? We need the iron sticks. We need to refine concrete. So refined concrete was iron sticks, concrete, steel plates, water. So we have steel plates here. There's also ice on this belt for some unknown reason. Let's get that ice off of that belt, because it's definitely not supposed to be there. Alright, so what were we doing? We had... I got distracted again. Steel plates, iron sticks, concrete, water. Steel plates are on this belt, in theory. Obviously they're not currently. Which we need to get that belt out of here. So you go underground and up to there, where we're gonna pick up a huge amount of random junk. And that's certainly a thing that's happening. Alright, so now we have iron plates. We get our iron sticks out here. Then we'd get the concrete, which should be on this gear belt. So I guess let's send as much of that underground as possible, and then this can go out here. Ah, spaghetti. Alright, so this was, I believe, the belt with concrete on it. Yes, it is. Okay. Now, the problem we're currently facing is that we have too much wire. So, let's make sure that the wire gets a box that can store some of the excess, and that's obviously a temporary fix. But it should keep everything running now. Alright, so that is going again. And the concrete gets up to here. And we just need to get those three things and water. So you get that. You get power pole. So we have sticks. We have sticks. We have steel plates. We have concrete. And so now we set you up to make refined concrete with a water input from over there, which will just go up here and in. So now we have our refined concrete output. And we're just waiting on steel plate production, which is making a whole bunch of recyclers first, so that's going to be a bit before that happens. But it should get here eventually. And all the other things have shown up in some small quantities. Concrete, not quite enough yet. Alright. So, if that is going, that would give us the refined concrete. So then we take processing units, holmium plates, refined concrete, and steel plates. The poor steel plates. We sure do need a lot of them for everything we do constantly. Alright, so the steel plates are supposed to be coming out of here. which... Okay, how do we even get this out? We need to do some horrible flip around like that. So that is steel plates. That's refined concrete. And processing units are also on there. So then we just need holmium plates, which is right here. So now we just do this. And then these come over. And then it's all powered up. And that's connected. So you are going to be making those. Alright. So, now that that's all set up, clearly what we need, first and foremost, is we need more recyclers, which I have to skip over that substation. Just get a whole giant row of them in there. And then we drag that along. And in go the inserters. And then out we go with the belts. Alright, so that is substantially more recycling. Hopefully it will be fast enough to get something meaningful done here. Although, I don't know. This is like 2.5 per second each, right? So this whole row is 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, 20. So this whole row is 20 scrap per second. And how much scrap are we even making down here? Just 8. Alright, so we are gonna need... We're gonna need more scrap mining. So let's run down there and get that fixed up. Ideally, we just have like a full belt of scrap, probably. Alright, so this... We just sort of... get you all just... Yeah, cannot insert stone because inventory is full. Well, let's dump some of this junk into the Spidertron for the short term. That will be marginally helpful. Alright, now we connect all that up and we start popping in some substations. Actually, just one substation might be able to cover the whole row. Yeah, there we go. So now this is 8, 16, 24, 32. So this is 64 scrap output per second, which is more than the belt can handle and also more than this power grid can handle. Alright, so Fulgora support, you should be all set up by now. You come over here and stop waiting. So this whole blob... Okay, no, we can technically fit more... We can fit more coverage over there. And then connect them up. So that's like one extra lightning rod. Hopefully will give us a little bit more power. But this is basically going to be spending most of its time dead. And we don't have the ability to do much about that at the moment. Just get a slight burst whenever a lightning strike comes. We might need more accumulators. Hopefully the problem is that we need more accumulators and not more lightning rods, because this area is like... I mean, we can put some around the edges to catch lightning off in this area to help slightly. But if that isn't enough, then we're going to have a problem. Okay, so this, I mean, even at nighttime, the power is just completely all messed up. Yeah, we need more. So let's just get a couple more around the edges to hopefully just expand the bubble of space that we can get lightning from. And then get them connected up. Like that. And now this is basically all we can do. And the power is all messed up. So this is just purely reliant on... Actually, can we... Yes, okay, this is what we can do. We spam efficiency modules. There we go. So that should help massively with the power demand. Now these cost less power than a bulk inserter, which is kind of crazy. So that is that. And it is still outputting. Now, I'm curious, we haven't had... The train hasn't come back here just at all. Which makes me think something must be going wrong up at the other spot. Alright, Fulgora support is here. It actually just arrived moments ago. So let's drop some of this stuff down. And then we can pick it up in a minute. Alright. I wish I could see where the power is. Did you go to Vulcanus first? Yes, I have Vulcanus and Gleba both set up. But I've just gotten on Fulgora recently and I'm trying to get it figured out. Power seems a bit sketch right now, at least. Okay, so we're getting lightning strikes again. Which... hopefully with the efficiency modules should mean we're able to get a whole lot more scrap out of this thing. Yeah, I mean, that looks much better. But still only occasionally getting struck. Up you go. And hopefully that's fine. It should be more than enough. It should be more than enough mining if the power works. Because we're not even going to be able to fit all that on the belt. Yeah, so far it's interesting. I mean, I've only just barely started, but it seems pretty neat so far. Alright, so this is all set up, and it does cap out... Alright, Fulgora support, you can go back to pick up more stuff later. So now we run up to our cargo landing pad, and we can grab those accumulators. And so hopefully just spamming down a couple more accumulators here will help. There we go, and then let's get a power pole over there so that they're all connected up properly. And this is still not seemingly enough power to keep it going all through the daytime. But hopefully the couple of extra accumulators will make it work next night. And it's pretty close anyways, I guess. It could be a lot worse. We finished rocket fuel productivity research. Let's just queue up a random mining productivity. That never hurt anyone. Alright, yep, now power is dead once more. Okay. What is even, like, draining all of the power? It is mostly the bulk inserters. Alright, well you can't efficiency module a bulk inserter, I don't think. So that's just gonna be tough. Alright, so you are just gonna have to sit like that, and hopefully the total production will still be enough anyways. So now we can run it up here to our very basic kind of awful setup here. So we are still producing, churning through the scrap. We can speed module these if we want, but power is a thing over here as well. Alright, what's taking most of the power here? It's mostly recyclers. Alright, so if we just spam all the efficiency modules we have, then hopefully that'll help. I really don't like not having sufficient power set up. Alright, now back here, has this done anything? Have we got any of these ever? No. It seems to still be just the same, like, absolute shortage of steel plates. Okay, and we still have belt speed for more of these in terms of the output. So, alright, Fulgora support is back already. That was kind of suspiciously fast, but whatever. You can... Okay, that was the wrong button, but whatever. You can get more modules, because we're going to need them, apparently. So we have enough of all of those, so hopefully that works out. And then this is another one where it's getting capped and then running dry. So if we just spam a whole giant block of accumulators over here, like if we just take up randomly just this area, which is probably not a good use of space, which is something which I need to think about more on Fulgora than I'm used to. But for now, hopefully those accumulators will do the job, because we have been capping out. Now that shouldn't happen. We should be able to get a bit more power. Alright, we still have... Oh, this is not working properly, actually, because this makes iron ore in addition to stone bricks. Okay, so we need you to get out. Let's take that out, put a substation in the general vicinity so that we have more room for spaghetti belts. Alright, so we run this belt forwards a bit. And then let's just split you off and filter out the iron ore. And maybe that'll be something. Oh hey, look, we have an electromagnetic plant. Now I get to see what these do. So we just pop that down. And this makes all sorts of things like modules and beacons, but more efficiently, and power infrastructure. And then it also makes superconductors, electrolytes, and supercapacitors. Not that I have any idea what any of those do. It also makes discharge defenses, which is neat, I guess. Alright, so that's handy, I suppose. We're going to have to figure out what to do with that in a minute. Alright, so this, we just want to probably just toss that into a furnace and smelt it up. And then it can go over here and meet up with the rest of our iron plate production. So, I don't know where we want the substation to be, somewhere like that. Alright, so that is that. This is still running, but we're still not getting enough stuff out of this, like by any metric at all. So this is mostly short refined concrete, which is mostly short regular concrete, which is mostly getting dismantled and turned into these guys. So let's start by just limiting you. How much do these stack to? They stack to 50? Yeah, one stack should be enough of those. Recyclers, I think we are fine with one stack of those as well for now. And we just continue to expand this out. Eventually we'll get a whole belt used up, and then that will be something. So that all goes along. Let's just put a substation in to handle all of them at once. And then the belt goes across. Now at some point we're going to run into belt speed limitations one way or the other. So this isn't a belt speed limitation, we've just used up half of our resources, but not the other half. So the train is over here filling up now, and it's going to be back any second. And then we'll see once it's back whether the full capacity of both belts is enough. So power-wise, we're actually doing great now. Like, this isn't getting anywhere near bottomed out, although that might be because of some of the recyclers aren't all running. Alright, so now we have plenty of inputs. Fulgora support has all the stuff I've queued up, so you can come back. It's nice having a relatively quick transport for that sort of thing. For a long time, my transports were very slow, and this is just much nicer. Alright, so this is making more holmium, which is fine. The blue circuits are actually backing up quite a bit, which is nice. Our supply of iron plates is going from the gears. This, making the stone bricks, might want to stop that at some point. We only have like 10 spare of the lightning rods, so maybe not. Right, the next science unlock thing, we craft a supercapacitor, and then we unlock electromagnetic science packs, and then we get all sorts of things, which is neat. And what is the Tesla weapons, faster robots, better modules, mech armor, more efficient power would be nice, and fancier energy shields and stuff. But the quality module Mark IIIs are sort of going to be like the big thing from there, because then I'm going to be probably looking into actually using quality for once. Alright, so refined concrete, we are producing it. And it looks like some of the concrete is getting through to this. So that's good. If we just add like a couple more of these guys in. Just a few more recyclers. until we're at the point where we're using up the entire belt's worth. And should probably just be speed modulating to some extent, but it's fine. Alright, so this all goes in. I could just copy paste this, but it's relatively simple. So we just do that, and bam. So that is a whole lot of recycling, and now hopefully, are we still not at the point where we're using both sides of the output belt? Are you? Yes, okay, we are at the point where we need to use both sides of the output belt. That's actually huge. So let's just go like halfway around here, and you wrap around like that. I don't know if that's exactly halfway, but it should be relatively close probably. Okay, we need faster inserters to get the gear wheels going out. And now we're just sort of limited by the scrap supply at this point. We're gonna be tearing this down and coming up with a better system probably not too long from now. Just want to get this whole thing set up as it is before we figure out like what all we need. Like, we're gonna want to use the electromagnetic plants for a bunch of things probably, so I just want to have those before we start worrying about making stuff here. Like we get... Actually, yeah, let's... So this is the electromagnetic plant. So we can use that here. Where is it? So if you go there, and you're just the same thing but better, with the productivity bonus, that will be somewhat helpful. And let's just like clear out some of this junk in my inventory. Just get a couple inventory slots cleared out. Okay, so the steel plates. So we didn't build this accounting for things being on both sides of the belts, and also... Alright, so this needs to wrap around to there. And clear out some of the extra junk. And then we also have too much solid fuel. Okay, now what we can do is, since we have all this solid fuel, we can actually just make a... Do I have... No, I don't have heating towers, but I can craft some. So let's craft some heating towers up. And we can get an alternate generator to burn through the solid fuel. And that should be quite effective. If we can figure out how to get the solid fuel out of there, of course. That's always the question. So we're just going to put those out there. And then this goes up here, over this way, and into this. I want the input belt to be on the bottom, just for personal preference reasons, nothing else. So then those input into the heating tower. And actually water is kind of a concern, so let's see. How do we get water? We can get some water from over there, but we are going to need a heat exchanger and some heat pipes. So that all connects up. And then some steam turbines. And then we just take the water pipe all the way over. And I have more pipes somewhere, right? Did this have them? Yes, it did. Alright, so we can send those down, send our modules down. And that should be fine for now. We're going to have to run over and grab them. Over we go. And now we are here. Okay, we can grab some pipes there. We can grab some modules. And some more pipes. And let's grab another couple sacks of bulk inserters while we're at it. And then run back up. I should really just move that up to here. But it should be fine anyways. Alright. So as things stand right now, we have constant power issues. Alright, so now this is connected up. And that is going to be making some amount of power. How much? Just like... actually pretty good amount of power, I would say, all things considered. Yeah, so relative to what we're using, this just tiny little steam turbine setup actually basically just has us covered. So that's cool. Don't need to worry about all that nonsense for a while now. And instead, we can worry about the constant backups of all this stuff. So, gear wheels are now the limiting factor. So, what we need to do is we need to just kind of... let's see here. We need to take the gear wheels themselves and just run them up to here where we have space. And then we need a recycler. So we have a recycler here, which takes from the gear wheels and makes iron plates. Then we have this here, which takes iron plates and makes gear wheels. And okay, wait, actually, if we just have you set up like this, there we go. So that should be good, and then we need to do is connect this down via some circuits. So you get connected all the way down to our gear wheel supply. And then if that is above, like, so enable disable on gear wheels greater than 4,900. Alright, so it's disabled right now. And we have plenty of gear wheels going out. We actually need power lightning rod coverage up here. So let's get that just... we can get nearly the entire thing by putting the lightning rod all the way up there. There we go. Now that's all set up. Okay, so then the next problem is this whole thing with the blue circuits and steel plates getting mixed up. So the steel plates need to get input on the other side of the shared belt. And then we need to just sort of drain that out until it's fixed. Okay, I believe that is fixed, but we still have way too many gear wheels, and apparently this is 4.8K and not an even 5K. So this needs to be greater than 47K. So that should help keep the gear wheels clear, assuming that we're able to at all keep up. And let's make those inserters faster. We might even need it to be stack inserters. Do we have stack inserters in here? Where are my stack inserters? Yes, here they are. Alright, so that gets to be stack inserters, which should get those gear wheels moving out lightning fast. And then maybe if that's also stack inserters. And I guess this might want to be speed moduled so that it can go lightning quick. Which, I don't know, might as well upgrade those to stack inserters as well. Alright, so that is that. And steel plates are dealt with, gear wheels are dealt with. So this shouldn't... This should drain all sorts of stuff out. Now this isn't physically going fast enough. So this is 16 gear wheels per second out. Okay, and we also have steel plates to worry about with the same sort of problem. So we need to output filter the steel plates. And then this belt goes forwards a bit. And we're going to... Wait. I remember learning that, like, if you craft these up into steel chests first, and then you recycle the steel chests, that it works much better. So the steel chests go into there and back. And is that all that we need? Okay, then we need this to be circuit network connected. So let's just get that connected into the same sort of red area as well. And, oh, these don't even have a box. Alright, I think that's a large part of the problem with them. So let's get a box in for you. Wait, no, can't be there. It has to be back here. Which I think will also fix the connecting to the wrong side problem anyways, so that should be fine. So if we just do that, then no, that's wrong. Stop it, stop it. I can't, my inventory is full. Please. Alright, so we take that space out. So this outputs to the left side. Alright, what if we just do something like this, and then connect that up to there. Okay, then this can go in that way. And no, that's wrong as well. This needs to go all the way up and around up to there. Alright, so now we need to draw all this extra junk off of the belts. And can we just empty it out into these boxes? There we go. And there's a whole bunch of blue circuits as well. Because of course there are. Alright, where do we put all the blue circuits? The blue circuits don't have a box either. So we're going to have to make one. So that goes into there. And across like that. Now we can fill up that. Okay, now the ice cubes have filled. And how do we get rid of the ice cubes? If we just recycle the ice cubes, are they just destroyed? Or no, there probably just isn't going to be a recipe for them. Okay, that's a lightning attractor. How does taking that out break this entire thing? Alright, we can put our own lightning attractor there. It's much smaller, more space efficient. Alright, so now that is all set up. And we don't have any areas that aren't covered correctly, which is all good. Alright, so now we get more ice destruction. So let's just get a couple of you here to make water. And you're gonna melt the ice. And then we need to do something with the water, which, let's think. If you have water and you need to destroy it, what do you do? What do you do with water? Actually, I wonder if you can just put ice into a recycler. Let's see what happens with that. Because if you can, then that might be more convenient. Okay, you can. It just simply destroys it. So that's all good. So now we just get this circuit network connected all the way around. How do we... Can I just get like an extra power pole in here just for the sake of having it to connect circuits to? Alright, so that this can then be enable, disable on ice cubes greater than 2,000. And then this needs to just like loop back into itself, basically, just like that. And let's get some power up in that whole area. Alright, so now we have ice cubes getting dealt with. And we kind of have solid fuel getting dealt with. So we might be able to... If we just do that, it just recycles it back into itself, which is what we want. So now we bring this along, and we can actually just get that connected across. So that this is enable, disable on solid fuel greater than 1900. And then it loops back into itself, because of course it does. And that is solid fuel down. Next up, we have stone. So, stone, we bring you up. And we're going to filter only stone. There's the stone itself. There it is. So we filter out so that we're only dealing with stone here. And then we just need, hopefully this same recycling trick works again. Yes, it does. Alright, very nice. So now we will connect you up to the red circuit network and then connect this up to the stone. So you are going to be enable disable on stone greater than 2100, let's say. And then we just have this same looping setup again. And hopefully that will get rid of enough stone fast enough for it to work. How's the power going, by the way? Power is going totally fine. No issues at all. The steam turbines are doing great. Alright, so now stone is under control. Next up is concrete, apparently. Okay, can we squeeze this in? We get you there, and then this gets connected back to the concrete box, which I'm now realizing doesn't exist. So concrete gets a box, and then we need the concrete box to actually go in correctly, right? So you need to do that, basically. Alright, so then this is enable disable on concrete, where the concrete box has to get connected in. And now this isn't actually limited, so I don't know what the number is going to have to be. So let's have the loop back into itself. So that should be fine. Okay, now gear wheels are a problem once again. Why is that? So up here is our gear wheel looping system. And I guess you just need to be faster. Alright, well let's see, do we have speed modules? We do. Alright, so now that is going to be draining gear wheels at a unhealthy rate. Although it's only actually going to be looping 7.5 back through this. But hopefully that will be enough. Alright, so that has the gear wheels going through now, and we're going to need you to be a bulk inserter as well. Alright, so yeah, we are definitely struggling to get some of the higher throughput items out of here, which is not at all surprising. Now, how many of these do we have? We're up to 7, and they stack up to 20. So I would like to just, have a stack of them. Alright, so this is going. The ice might be a limiting factor. The gear wheels are definitely a limiting factor. Okay, what if we just... Wait, no. If we let that get bypassed, then it's going to be less efficient. But at least we won't have to be relying on the speed of a single stack inserter there. Alright, then let's just copy-paste that setup up here and get more in. And then we can get you. Okay, now you get connected across. And your settings get pasted. Alright. So now we should be fine. Okay, it looks better for now, although that might just be because the amount of scrap output is dramatically lowered. Yeah, the amount of gear wheels that we have here is not great, and I don't think that bypass is actually helpful at all. Ironically, I think doing it like this would be better because then it's stack inserters, so it's more space efficient on the belt, maybe? I don't know. Alright, so this... So what parts of this is good, what part isn't? Obviously the scrap processing is fine, the train is fine. It's really like everything up to like here is fine. Like the boxes are a little bit sketch, and everything past it is a nightmare. So we need to think of a better sort of longer term solution for all this. But actually, let's just see. We have plenty of these guys now, right? Got like 10-ish of them. So what do we need to make? We need to make a supercapacitor in order to get the science. So we need holmium plates, batteries, electronic circuits, superconductors, and electrolytes. So I guess first step is make electrolytes. So we need stone, heavy oil, and holmium solution. Stone is here. Holmium solution is here. Although we're going to need to probably just speed module you should be enough. So that's at least enough that this is now even. And then let's productivity module you so that you use less. So you produce more, you use less. That should overall work out. So we now take the holmium solution up to here, and it is going to be input onto one side. Alright, so that is that. Then we get heavy oil in on the other side, and that should be as easy as just getting an offshore pump. So if we just get our offshore pump, put you there, that should give us the heavy oil. Nice and straightforward. So that goes into there. And then we have our stone. So the stone is just going to go up this way and in like that. So that should give us electrolytes. Check. So then next up, we need a superconductor, which means we need light oil, copper plates, and some other stuff. Okay, wait, this whole section is broken currently. Let's fix it. There we go. So that is back to functional. I don't know if that was actually like showing how broken it was, but now it should be fixed. Alright, so up to here we need light oil, which should just be a chemical plant and some water and some heavy oil. So heavy oil to light oil. Find some water. So here's our water pipe, which we can expand over this way. And okay, we need to flip the chemical plant so that you just go like that. And that should be all that we need to get light oil. So light oil then goes into there. We need plastic, holmium plates, and copper plates. So plastic we can get by recycling red circuits, right? Red circuits are plastic bars, yes. Now the other way we could get plastic would be with coal, but I don't think we have coal here. So yeah, let's get... You need to expand out to there so that we can get our red circuits out of this. And you go under that. And apparently got slightly messed up, so let's just fix that. Alright, so now we just go up to here with our red circuits. Grab some extra space. Alright, so now we are going to have a recycler. So that is going to take these and it's going to make copper cable and green circuits and plastic. So we need to filter out here copper cable and green circuits, and those are just going to go into a loop of self-destruction like this. Oh right, this needs to be closer because of how these work. I always forget that. Mining productivity, success. Let's do another one. Alright, so then we get an output over here, which is filtered for plastic bars, which can then go forwards. We're missing underground belts. That's awkward. Do you have underground belts? No, we need more underground belts. Alright, Fulgora support, go back. And then, so this goes up to here and around. And in there. Alright, now this makes copper cable, which we actually kind of want. So you are going to be blacklisting... Where is it? Why can I never find anything in this? There we go. Blacklist copper cable. So now our copper cable and copper ingots, actually, because those might also... Wait, no, if this is blacklisting copper cable... Hang on, let me think. So this is getting copper cable from out there, and green circuits. So yeah, this needs to blacklist copper cable and copper plate. So we're going to have both on this belt. Then we are going to filter out the copper cable, and it is then, wait, we need to recycle the copper cable anyway, so we just filter out the copper plates there. So that should work, and we should get copper plates out of this. So we then just take this up, and that could go in the other side of this belt. So light oil, check. Plastic, check. Copper plates, check. Now let's get stuff off the belt that shouldn't be on the belt. And actually we should probably just... no, that wouldn't work. Okay, now what we can do is we can filter out here. Upper priority left is copper plates, and that goes like that. This one, this side doesn't even go out that far. So now all the copper plates will go over there, all the non-copper plates go into there. So finally we just need the holmium plates, which we can squeeze out this way if we just rework this pipe a little bit to have a little bit more space. Alright, so now this is all set up. And we do that. Alright, let's get a box down somewhere and fill it with a bunch of this random junk that's clogging up my inventory. Like 3 stacks of sticks and some ice cubes. Alright, that should be almost manageable at least. Actually, let's move some of this stuff from the Spidertron into there as well. Because boy, do we not need all of this ever. Alright, so this theoretically would get everything if we had the underground belts for it. So Fulgora support is back here. And you are going to request a bunch of underground belts and a bunch of splitters. And then we're just going to have to wait for that to show back up again. We don't have those like in this box over here, do we? No, we do not. Alright, so that is all fine. The train... I could have sworn I just saw the train leave like 10 seconds ago, but... Oh, is that just... Oh, right, because these cross over weirdly. Right. Weird stuff happens. Alright, so that is fine, though. This is all... technically could be said to be working. If you were a bit optimistic. So, up here we have... We haven't sent up the splitters or the transport belts, but they are on the way. So the rockets are making it here, and there we go, and there we go. Alright, so now you can come back to Fulgora with those, and then we can get this all finished out. Okay, so this... Right, so we haven't been able to get any of the plastic out of here yet, which is why it isn't running any of the rest of the stuff either. And that's fine. Let's run down here and actually just pick up the cargo landing pad and bring it up to a more convenient spot. Alright, so pick that up. Apparently get a couple hundred power poles with it. And then we just run back up this way and we can put the cargo landing pad where... We can just put it here. Alright, there we go. Cargo landing pad acquired. And that is that. So now we just have to wait for the platform to make it back. Okay, so in the meantime, I guess we can do more planning ahead. So we have superconductors crafting, we have electrolytes crafting. So then we need to get batteries, green circuits, and holmium plates, and all this stuff. So the batteries and the green circuits. Is this the batteries? Yes, this is the battery source. And can we just drone port this? How many drones do we have? We only have 50 of each drone. But I could have sworn there was a box somewhere with a bunch of drones. Are they down here? No, I could have sworn there was a box with like 100 drones each. But apparently that's not true. Okay. So, if we want to get the batteries out, that's just not happening. That just isn't happening, so let's give the drone network, such as it is, a couple of drones, and then we can just provider chest them up. Alright, so we need another electromagnetic plant, which we can just put up there somewhere. And you are going to be making supercapacitors. Alright, so green circuits are a red circuit byproduct. So I guess we need even more of this stuff. And this setup needs to use the green circuits, so we're just going to have to do another one, basically. Okay, let's fill up. We have some of those. So now we take the red circuits from here out and up a bit. Then we get a recycler, which will take those red circuits, and then it will then output a whole bunch of junk, and included in that junk will be green circuits. So we just filter, output electronic circuits. Let's have that be the other side. So then this goes over this way and into that. Then the rest of this stuff we can just dispose of just by having it go into itself like that. And let's get a substation here, and then connect the substation up to a power pole. Alright, so Fulgora support, we can send down all this stuff that we needed. There we go. And technically this whole area is within coverage of this one drone port, so it should like actually just automatically craft things once it shows up. Are we going to see the drones make their move? No, apparently not. That's fine. So what I think we need to do is if we just have you output a passive provider chest, which gets powered, and then we get the drone coverage down to here. Wait, no, wrong. It needs to actually see the other drone port. There we go. And that is going to burn some power to get that drone port charged up. Alright, so now these drones are doing their thing. And this has all been built. Alright. So, let's just get another one of you out here. Of course, there's a huge amount of random junk that we need to clear out. Alright, then you get a requester chest that is going to request batteries, and we are going to bring drone coverage up to here as well. Alright, so you request batteries. That's another one of those done. Then we can just grab the holmium plates, and those are going to go into here. And then we just have this, which outputs just directly up to there. Alright, so last thing we need is we need the electrolytes. So let's sort of maneuver these around all the random nonsense in the area. And in they go. There's a lightning rod there. I need to take that lightning rod out and build it back in. Alright, let's get the lightning rod right there so that it gets everything covered. Okay, we need storage chest probably. There we go. Now we have storage chests to dump extra stuff. And this is making electromagnetic plants. Alright, so now we have the supercapacitors. Guess we can put those in a box. And electromagnetic science pack unlocked. It's supercapacitor plus accumulator plus electrolyte plus holmium solution. And that will give us all sorts of things like processing unit productivity, scrap recycling productivity, and then all of this stuff as well, although indirectly once we get to Aquilo in a while. Alright, so the most urgent thing here would be the better lightning collectors, probably. Although maybe rail support foundations, actually. Does this unlock to anything? No, it doesn't seem to. Alright, what I want to know is how do you eventually get the foundation? Okay, so that's the foundations to build over the oil oceans up there are not going to be available from this planet directly. Alright, let's get a barely technically functional setup going, and then we can, so that we have some electromagnetic science, and then once that happens we can start figuring out how to work on getting it better, like actual reasonable production rates. So let's see, we have supercapacitors, we have electrolytes, we have holmium solution. So we just need to craft accumulators, which is iron plates and batteries. And that is pretty simple. So iron plates are down here, batteries are probably most easily accessed up there. Let's get more of that stuff in, and then clear just like a couple spaces out of my inventory. Alright, so this belt is like the main iron plate belt, right? Yeah, so this is like the main iron plate belt. So we're just going to run this up. And then we need... Are these made in chemical plants or assembly machines? It's probably assembly machines, right? Yeah, definitely. Alright, so assembly machine inserter. Then we have our battery box, which let's just take it out of this one spot. So this comes down here and goes in. I don't know why I placed that sideways. Alright, so that should give us accumulators. So for the science, we need... Where is it? Why can I never find things? Supercapacitors, accumulators, electrolytes, holmium solution. Alright, so let's get this pasted up here. And it gets built. You are going to be making electromagnetic science pack. And you get that and that. And you get some power. And then we just have to bring these pipes across. There we go. And then the holmium solution is we just sort of bring you across to there and give you plenty of space away from the other pipes. And let's just bulldoze through some random obstructions while we're at it. Okay, so you need to get over this way, but not quite like that. You need to go up to there. So then that wraps around to that and in. Alright. That... Wait, these are batteries. Not... Okay, I just got confused for no reason at all. So we just bring those over to here and fill them up. You don't need that. And that, my friends, is technically electromagnetic science production. So, only one thing left to do, and that is get a rocket silo. We can actually just import the rocket silo, right? Yeah, that'll be easier. So, Fulgora support. What did you bring that we could potentially need? None of this stuff, really. So you go back to Novice. And, wait. Rocket silo. Keeps the rocket capacity by 1. Rocket... Okay, no, I saw the stack size 1, and I thought that was rocket capacity of 1. So, what we actually need to import is just electric engine units. All the rest of the stuff we have. So we go to here, and you are going to ask for, what was it, 200 electric engine units. Then we are going to get the rocket silo production set up. So you do that, and then that gets pasted across to read ingredients, set requests. Okay, so we don't have pipes, obviously, but we can just pop those in manually. And then the rest of this stuff is all accessible from here. Alright, so the pipes are in, and the rest is going. And let's get you to be a bulk inserter so that you can move somewhat more quickly. And then you can output your result into there. And then, once that is up, we are going to need rocket fuel, blue circuits, low density structures. I believe... yeah, we have low density structures. We have blue circuits. We don't have rocket fuel, but we should be able to make it pretty trivially. So if we just get... where's those offshore pumps? So we get offshore pump. That gets us heavy oil. Then we just need to... wait, is this also light oil? Right? So this... rocket fuel. Where is rocket fuel? Rocket fuel is solid fuel and light oil. Yes. So we are just going to want to branch this pipe over a little bit and then get a chemical plant in where you make... are you not chemical plant? You must be assembler. I will never understand the exact logic behind what like fluid-based recipes go in chemical plants versus assemblers, but whatever. So that is that. Then we get the solid fuel in. There we are. And that gives us our rocket fuel. Alright, technically some rocket fuel production achieved. And this uses hardly any light oil, and this produces a bunch of light oil. So that is fine. We can eventually speed module that if we need to. Alright, so Fulgora support is here. It's getting stuff launched still. It says we have 400 electric engine units on the way. Actually, what does it take to craft one of those? Oh, it takes a couple steps that I haven't done and don't necessarily need to do. So yeah, that's fine then. Now this has stopped running because it is short on is this? Okay, no. I saw the little green bar and I thought it was spoilage, but it's not. So that's fine. So this is primarily short on supercapacitors, which are primarily short on holmium plates. And holmium plates are actually fine, they just don't have enough crafting. Alright, so if we just get another one of you out here to make more holmium plates. And you can also be productivity moduled. And then... wait, I did this in a stupid way. Hang on. That should connect down to there. Wait, no. Wait, okay, so that's fine. This then loops around like that. And this chunk up here doesn't need to exist anymore. Alright, so that is all in. Then this can output the holmium plates to this belt here. And that will be slightly better production. Although we might now run out of holmium solution, but if we do, then there are still some steps we can take to fix that. Alright, meanwhile, Fulgora support, it's got the engine units. You can come back to here. And we're eventually gonna start running out of other things that we haven't been running out of so far, like potentially the blue circuits, potentially... okay, holmium ore actually looks fine, but potentially batteries will run out of. Who knows? By the way, how much scrap is this using? Basically none. A negligible amount. We were at 25 million when we started. We're still at 25 million. So it looks like steel plates are currently a major bottleneck, which is basically just to be expected. Okay, this was never set up right then. Okay, so you need to be disabled by control behavior until steel plates are... Did this ever connect back properly? No, it never did. Alright, so that goes to there. And how much do steel plates stack to? They stack to 100. And this is, what, 48 slots? So you need to be... steel plates are greater than 4,700. There we go. So you're still disabled. And, okay, power is now actually a thing. So, how do we fix that? We could get more steam turbines going. Although, yeah, I mean, it looks like steam turbines are still like the majority of my power output. And maybe we can get more of these in to fix that. Alright, lightning rods. We can expand the lightning rods to be sort of covering a little bit over the ocean as well, and that will help us catch more electricity from them. So we just do that, and then we can also get lightning rods in that whole area down there, which seems a bit unnecessary, hopefully. I guess we'll have to see. We might also just need to get around to spamming more efficiency modules on things. That might be a big part of it as well. Like, most of these guys don't have efficiency modules. Where is the biggest power demand? It is mostly the electromagnetic plants, actually. Alright, and do we peak? Yes, we do. We do hit max storage, which means let's get more of these guys in. So if we just get a couple more rows of this, that should make our storage, if we can get them lined up properly, large enough to keep us going through the night. And it's going to be sketchy, and I don't think it'll end up actually working, but it'll help a little bit at least. And then it is time to start spamming efficiency modules. So you can definitely be efficiency moduled. We're going to start with just efficiency modulating all of these. There's a very high chance we swap over to productivity modules at some point, and this is all going to be messed up, but for now we can do more fuel power basically at any point if we just like run the water pipe down a little bit. And yeah, let's actually do that. So this is not very efficient. Do I have more pipes? No, I'm actually low on pipes. Alright, Fulgora support is here. Let's send down those. And send down another couple hundred pipes. That will be helpful, apparently. Alright, so we're going to need to do a bit of spaghettiing to get this out. So pipes can come down this way and around over to here. So now the pipes are mostly in the clear. And actually, I I'm just going to have the pipe go down through the recycler. That makes more sense than going all the way around, because that'll eventually block off the new pipe location anyway. So we do something like that, and then we get the solid fuel to do the same thing. Okay, that's fine, right? Because that's just the same belt. Alright, I need to just grab like a stack of those, and I guess a stack of those, and a bunch of those. Alright, so now we can bring the solid fuel down, and we can redo this whole setup. So this is 80 megawatts, this is only 10. So yeah, we definitely need less of this up here. And once we have this new half set up, we're going to dismantle the old half because it's probably just wildly inefficient. So we get one of you and 4 of the heat exchangers. Yeah, 1 of you to 4 heat exchangers. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 8 steam turbines, which is conveniently the exact number of steam turbines we have currently. There we go. Apparently, somewhere we tried to place a power pole that didn't get placed. So let's just stand next to it and get that in. There we go. Alright, so this, we then just have to get the fuel into there, and the water into there, and then we just pop in a substation to get all this stuff connected up to the grid. And then we need to get it covered from lightning strikes, and we're all set. So this is going to take some time to warm up, and then power should be fixed-ish for the time being. Now we can run up here, and this should be almost done. What are you short on? You're short on steel plates. Okay, that is fine. How many steel plates do you need to go? You need 1,000. Yikes. Well, I have some. Actually, I have a lot. Okay, that's fine. So we can get you to run, and that will be that. We have 100 and some electromagnetic science, and no supercomputers, no copper plates. So the copper plates were supposed to be coming off of this chunk here, but the plastic is too much. Okay. So we need more copper plate recycling. And we can get that by recycling green circuits. No, that's going to be a pain. Okay, we just have to do this then. So we get you split off, and do I not have any recyclers in my inventory right now? Apparently not. Let's top it down and pick up another 20. Alright, so this goes up here, and it takes green circuits. So we take half the green circuits up here, half of them down there. The half that go up here, we then just sort of... So that's going to give us iron plates and copper cables. So the copper cables go here. So this, we're going to filter to copper cables. And I know you can just use the outputs, but I prefer to do it this way, I think. So this puts copper cables, and we can just smack those right back on the belt there, I think. Copper plates. No, wait, is this the wrong one? Yes, that's the wrong. That's the wrong metallurgic thing. So this then has to go down to here. Then this one just... Then you... all the stuff that isn't copper cables, you just wrap on over. And... I feel like I did this wrong, but whatever. I feel like there's definitely a way of doing this with fewer recyclers. But this is fine. So we just do something like that. Pop the substation in. Alright, so now we should have copper plates going down to here. Which should also get some of this copper plate going, because this is going to drain some plastic. Alright, so that is that. Should be more of this up and running. And we do have our rocket silo. So let's plop the rocket silo in. And then you get two things. So first, you get a box which is going to request rocket fuel, low density structures, and blue circuits. Then you get that set to automatic request from space platform. And then you get a power pole. So that then goes up. And that is that. Now we're going to have to see if we're going to need to do productivity modules and such to get all that stuff working. For now, though, so everything is going through to some extent. None of the scrap is backlogged, which is always a good sign. So what I eventually want to do in the future is to just break like everything down to basic parts, make sure that nothing in the scrap production ever backlogs, and then just be able to construct things semi-normally past that point. But for now we're doing this. So I want to do like a big train-based system basically, where like each of the different islands handles different jobs. And that way I have plenty of space to do things, and I can use the space in between for train logistics without like wasting anything. It will be complicated because we're obviously going to need like all sorts of power generation in all the different islands. But that is ultimately going to be the goal, I think. Alright, so you are short on superconductors. You are short on copper plates. And this up here isn't getting enough green circuits. Alright, what if we make that underground and this can feed you with red circuits? So if you're also getting fed with red circuits, then, I mean, that should still ultimately produce the stuff that we need, but we'll have more available, hopefully. Alright, so it is going now, but I think we're just gonna have to give up on those, and all these guys are gonna be productivity moduled just all the way through. go, and then you get productivity modules as well. These shouldn't need them, I don't think. Alright, so now with the productivity modules, we should be better off. However, we also have Omega insane power demands. So what I think we can do is if we get some beacons in here and efficiency module, then does that help? Technically a little bit, but it's pretty rough. So we need more steam power, which we can pretty easily double, assuming we have more turbines, which I'm pretty sure we had some turbines somewhere. Okay, now we need to reconnect the water pipe, because it was connected through that. Alright, so this is all set up. Oh, did I not? Is this connected wrong? Yeah, this is connected wrong. We need heat pipes to go up like that to get all of those running. And then we need you to go there. And then we need to mess with the lightning rods in the middle of a storm. There we go. So now that's set up so we have enough space. That power pole is unnecessary. And then this can go across there. And we get heat in. Okay. So this whole setup is going. We apparently have all the production we need in the middle of the storm, at least. So these ones are saying no input fluid because these are low temperature, which should be changing soon. Alright, let's get the rest of this stuff set out. And also more lightning rods, which will be helpful. Then the heat goes across, and we get those set up. Now where... are they like in a box down here? Yes, they are. And so we're going to have to run down and grab those extra steam turbines. And we're probably going to have to increase the amount of water that we produce as well, because that's something that I'm not used to needing to think about. But we just run down here, grab all of those. And anything else here that's urgently needed? No, not really. We can run back up. So up we go. And we just move across. Now we're up here. We can get all of these guys in. And then get them powered up a little bit more. Okay, train out of fuel. That is fine. Also, our own power grid has died. So first step is you are going to grab some solid fuel, send it in there. Then I have solid fuel on me, so I can run up here and get you rebooted. Then the storm comes and power starts going up again. And hopefully the heating towers can do their thing now. Hopefully the heating towers can do their thing and get steam. So how much? This is like 80 water a minute, right? Because it's 10 each. How much water do we make? Because it probably isn't enough, right? Okay, well, we also need to make that actually work. So our water supply is exclusively based off of this one thing, but we can fix it easily. So we get you in there and another one up there. Then this just goes across and we get that. And now we run that pipe down like that. So now we're up to 60 water per second. And now we just jam some speed modules in there and boom. Plenty of water. So now the power grid is apparently working again. So all these guys are running. These guys down here are about to start turning on. And there we go. Alright, so that should be solid. Okay, actually, one thing that we can do is... This isn't something I've done before, but it should be relatively straightforward. So we just pop that all the way across, put you back in. So now all of these are connected up, and we just need some steel plates, which we should have a nice box of them. I need like a storage tank. Alright, so we get a storage tank. That goes in there. Now, if anything weird happens with our power supply, we will have steam. We'll have steam to keep it backed up for a while. Alright, so that is all in. Next, go back up to this. So this is working. And it's got seemingly solid backlogs of everything. Because it's hardly producing anything at all. We also have tons of that stuff. And you... Okay, you probably need to stop. I guess there's no harm in you crafting more of these, aside from the steel supply is going to be low. Alright, let's get this and get you going faster. Just so that we can have, you know, some science production. Half of a science per second. Incredible. Alright, so that is up to 250. We're also about to finish mining productivity, which is cool. So this needs 0.26 of these per second, which means we're also going to need a speed module in here somewhere. If we can fit it. Does that fit? I guess it does. Alright, so now you are going to be able to produce enough of those to keep up. And we're going to need... This produces 0.4 of those. This needs 0.52. That's close enough, basically. This needs 0.26 of these. So let's speed module you up so that we have enough of that. And we need like 7 each of the fluids. So this is only like 6. And let's get another beacon in then. Beacon goes burr. And then for the holmium fluids. This produces like 25, but a big chunk of it is obviously going to be used. So it's tough to judge, but it should be okay. Alright, so we have science. So this is about to finish, and then we can figure out what we want to do with a relatively slow trickle of electromagnetic science, which also is pretty likely to back up and jam at some point, although it's not guaranteed. It's very difficult to tell what our shortages are. Alright, so that, let's see here. If we just click on this, we can see all the immediate. Personal battery Mark III is 500. It's also kind of useless. Energy shield 750, not tremendously useful. Lightning collector is 1,000, and it's great. Mech armor is 5,000, and we have Spidertrons. Personal roboport is 750, 1,500, 2,000, 2,000. Scrap recycling is 750. Okay, let's just queue up lightning collector, I guess. I mean, okay, obviously we can't start it yet, but we do have the biolabs making things twice as efficient, so we're actually probably closer than we would expect. Alright, so Fulgora support. Now you just need to add a request for electromagnetic science. And just a whole bunch of the stuff. But I do think we want a minimum payload of 200 just to get it moving. And, okay, we need more drones. That's another thing that we need. So, if we go up to Fulgora support, can you also request some drones? Where are they? They're in here. Just like 100 of each should be enough for now. It's going to be a lot better than the 25 of each that we're currently operating with. So that is that. And you have created your first extra of those. So this is almost stopped running. And then we can figure out what the steel demand actually looks like under normal circumstances. Alright. So we're still going. We've managed to launch 200 of this stuff up. This needs 1,000 progress, and the biolabs are like doubly efficient, right? So if we get 500 up there, it should be enough. So we have 200, and we're just gonna have to wait a little bit. Can this be... This can probably just get even more speed modules. Okay, why... I have to stand slightly closer. I'm not used to the exact location that I'm standing being important. But there we go. So that's now up to 0.8 per second, which is marginally better. Alright, yeah, logistics bots, all 25 of them are doing their absolute best right now. It's a rough day to be a logistics bot, honestly. But we'll get more of them in a second. So we have 200 up there. We have another 800 requested, which we can't quite fulfill at the moment. So this it's still going well, although the low density structures are probably about to break. And the power demand is absolutely chillin'. No problem at all on the power demand front. We've got a whole extra box of steam. And that's all good. So, holmium is low. Low density structures are very high. All this stuff is looking fine. Stone is recycle locked. Batteries are, I think, slowly depleting. Steel is doing its thing. Ice is, I believe, also recycle locked. Rocket fuel is both recycle locked and powering the whole thing. Gear wheels should be recycle locked, and stone is probably recycle locked somewhere. I don't know. Concrete. Okay, concrete isn't recycle locked, but it does make a whole bunch of things, so hopefully it'll be fine. Alright, so this is... it's definitely going. We have 400 up here probably by this point, and another 100 on the planet. Which means we are just a single rocket launch away from having electromagnetic science. And this, meanwhile, is almost... I mean, it's actually still got to get a lot of steel for that, but it's fine. It's making progress. The extra rocket launch pads will probably be useful at some point. And it's not like it's horrendously breaking things in the short term. Okay, so the concrete is recycle limited, so that's good. So we should be all set. So this is just gonna run until we get better stuff, and then do I want to start making higher quality stuff? So quality is one of tier 3 quality modules, one of the things which I can get soon-ish off of electromagnetic science. We don't need a lot of it, but we are producing it now. And once we do that, we're going to unlock higher quality machines, which is going to sort of change the game, I think. So I wonder if we just let ourselves cook on this and then get quality module production running, and then get higher quality machines from Novice or wherever, and then import them, and then we can go crazy here with higher quality machines making things a whole lot cleaner. Alright, so this is almost up to the 200 point. There we go. So now we are just bringing the science over to here. And it's launching. Alright. So once that makes it up, we're going to send Fulgora support back to Novice, which we're going to need to actually, real quick, go here, add on a request for, where are you? Science. Electromagnetic science. Just add on, like, a request for, like, 2,000 of this stuff. There we go. Then, Fulgora support has 600 electromagnetic science. Now we send it back. And hopefully that should get us lightning collectors, which should get science running again. Okay, meanwhile, we should just do a quick check of the other places. Glebo looks like it's doing fine. Vulcanus is mostly stationary, as it tends to be. But it has all of the... Okay, wait, no. There is actually something wrong here. We don't have tier 3 modules. We don't have tungsten carbide. Okay, where's the tungsten carbide supposed to come from? It's supposed to go through the logistics network. and all the way down from here. Where did it actually get added into the logistics network? I'm not seeing any boxes off of this belt. Okay. It must have just gotten in to the logistics network somehow. And with, like, just some random storage crate or something. So now we have this going. We have tungsten carbide producing again, which should... yeah, so now this is already running. And we are having coal shortages, because... why is that? So you have no coal. You have 9,000 coal. As do you. Alright, it's probably fine, because these are both coming back just, like, very, very soon. So hopefully that works it out. We still have our request for 52k coal. So this is going to be draining some of that coal supplies, and... okay, the tungsten carbide is now all in this box, and it doesn't seem to be... right, these guys need carbon, which means we need coal. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. It'll get there eventually. We're just going to make sure that this is actually successfully deploying all of its coal, because it sure does have a lot. And it might be that it's just, like, immediately turning around or something. Like, if these are all fixed. Yeah, okay, so we need to add an additional weight condition. So in there, and 60 seconds of inactivity. Alright, so I think what was happening is that this wasn't waiting around long enough to actually deploy all of its coal, so we're just going to have it sit in orbit for 60 seconds no matter what. Alright, so you can get the same rule, which will be relevant briefly. And you're sending out all of that stuff, and then a little bit more. And there we go. So Vulcanus has coal again. That should get everything running. And the drones are doing crazy things to refuel. Alright, Fulgora support is here. We have dropped our science down. Okay, apparently we have no spare bots on Novice. So, how is that happening? How do we have spares of one type but not the other? That's what I want to know. Alright, let's... so the bot production is currently turned off, right? Like, we have these guys not doing anything. And if they were doing something, they would be outputting onto this row, which would then go directly into here. Alright, let's take those out and then let these guys cook a little bit more. Although these are short... these guys are all short electrical engine units, which are running, but very slowly, and it's just all going into there. Alright, we might have to do something about that. But yeah, we're going to need to do something about that to get more drone production going. But it should still be something at least. We have 21 of that type. And how's the science go? Oh, we need to actually request the science into the machines. So we just go here, and you are going to get that, and then each of you, and that should get the science going. And we should finish this hopefully pretty quickly. Now we need to limit that a bunch more, I think. I don't know what we needed all those electric engine units for, but we're not getting drones, which we do occasionally need. So right now we have 50 of each, which is better, but still not great. Alright, well, here's what we can do. We can set that up and just request some of them go into here, and then this can just go backwards and fill these up with, let's get those settings in and then get it all sorted properly, and that should be better than producing more, which we absolutely don't need. So you guys can then be deactivated. And I don't know where all the flying robot frames are even going, though. Like, how was it that this belt was entirely empty? Somewhat mysterious. Well, whatever. I'm sure it's fine. Alright, so that should provide the robots to load up Fulgora support with them. Oh, and we need to remove that and send those back down. Do not need more electric engine units. You can do without those. Alright, lightning collector. Very, very rapidly going through at like 400 a minute over a limited period of time. It is still very, very fast. And yeah, there we go. That's going to be lightning collectors researched. Any second now. And 100. Alright, lightning collectors, check. Then next up, we are going to want to do... Let's see here. So quality modules are the next thing we actually want, but we don't really have the ability to do that yet. So let's just, like, pass the time with some artillery shell range. And that is that. So Fulgora support. You now have 100 of each, so you can come back. Okay, now let's figure out lightning collector, supercapacitor, accumulator, lightning rod, electrolyte. So that is like very similar to how you make the science packs. Kind of annoyingly similar almost. And it is range of 25 plus lightning reach, whereas this is range of 15 plus. And efficiency of 40%, whereas this is 20%. Okay, I mean, the thing is that our power situation is so incredibly fine because of the steam turbines at this point that, like, I'm kind of not super worried about it, but I guess I will get them set up. So what if we just pop you in there and send that across, then you are going to be making the lightning collectors. So you get those, and you get lightning rods, which we can just bring in via drone because they're a million miles away. And then this pipe. Then that gets powered up. And this can then output to a box, which we're going to limit significantly. Alright, so these are 2x2s, which is slightly more annoying than the smaller versions, but should still be fine. Let's just go around and replace some of these guys with fancier lightning rods. And over to here. Okay, wait, that refueler never actually got set up properly, so it was just going to run out shortly. Alright, but that is that. And now this has jammed. It's jammed because of low density structures. Okay, that's completely unsurprising. So what we need to do is just take the low density structures out, run them over this way somewhere, and all the way over to here. Then we get a recycler. Where are the recyclers? There's one. So this is going to be a very simple setup there. You are going to be set to enable disable based off of low density structures greater than, what are they at right now? 2.4K? Greater than 2300. Alright. So low density structures should be greater than 20. Oh, but it's not connected up. Alright, artillery shell range has been researched. Let's do another one, because I want biters to destroy everything apparently. So now we connect that up. And now, why are you... You're 2400, you are 2300. Why are we not getting... What's wrong here? Oh, was that somehow not connected properly? Alright, meanwhile on Novice, crazy stuff is going to be happening with the artillery in all likelihood. But it shouldn't ultimately be anything too interesting, so we're just going to ignore it for now. And instead, get that in. And there we go. Okay, actually crazy stuff is happening. Just, are we actually losing anything? Or are we fine? So this stuff down here is still working, although it isn't looping quite properly, but it's fine. I mean, it's producing the stuff that we want it to produce, right? So the uranium got hit. So we are gonna want to double wall that and get in a couple more laser turrets, just as a nice little precaution. Okay, up here things are actually going quite badly, but we got it under control eventually. So we just need quite a few more laser turrets up there. Let's see, this wall here got hit and took a lot of damage in the process. So let's double wall you, get another couple laser turrets. And where are all of these, like, actively destroyed? Okay, we're also just losing a bunch of drones, probably to trying to repair all this stuff. Alright, so that should be back under control. We have a Spidertron here if we need to emergency respond. We just have to remove the capture bot rockets because that is not the correct weapon for the day. Yeah, let's actually just... where are those? Remove those entirely. Alright. So now that is that. How much stored artillery ammo do we have? Is it enough to get through? It's rapidly depleting. In fact, it's basically gone. But we have enough resources to keep crafting, so it should be okay. It's not going to be like an instantaneous clear, but it should be okay. Alright, back over on Fulgora. Is anything broken since I last checked? This isn't working properly. Alright, what if we just make that a box? Which then outputs to there. And you... well, you would need to be a bulk inserter, probably. Alright, so that should be fine now with that extra buffer in, hopefully. Although you're 0.53 per second, which is kind of slow, actually. Let's get you cooking faster. 1.6 per second, there's no way we get that much, right? Alright. Yeah, how much is this? It's 0.02 per second each, apparently. And that is going. And we're still not... we're still just barely keeping up with this. I think it's going to be... I think we are going to get ahead of it now. And then it should be fine. So this is now going to not be getting as many low density structures as it uses, which means that this should eventually finish out. And we're not going to fill this box, it doesn't look like. So this just needs to drop down a little bit more. Might need to beacon this. I really hope we don't. So it is getting there. That's down to like 50 and 16. And hopefully it'll be fine now. Alright. Takes another 13. Yeah, it takes them in giant stacks, basically. But it is slowly depleting, which is always a good sign. And the power demand is going just fine. Alright, can we actually circuit network you to read fuel, read temperature, and connect you actually just like to an accumulator, right? So you and you I think we actually want a decider combinator on this, because I want to use the just electricity from the lightning rods as much as possible. So we are going to read from the accumulators and output to those. So the accumulators can read charge level. So let's go if, I guess it's outputting to signal A is less than 50 and steam in the tank. We want this to be connected up to, we're just going to sort of connect you across to that. Alright. How have we done this? You're reading that. Is it not connected up properly? It's probably just not connected up properly for whatever reason. Alright. Let's get laser damage next, because apparently the lasers are being pretty heavily used. Alright, so this... we needed to only read the charge level from one of them, right? Like that. So, we have charge level is greater than 50, and steam. Where's the steam? And steam is greater than 12,000. Output a signal for no entry. And then we take this, and these guys should be able to... oh wait, we actually have to... I think it has to be connected up to these. Okay, we are losing some laser turrets as usual, but you are going to be enable, disable, no entry equals 0, I think. So you're like that, which means that now that should be inactive. And can we actually just... okay, we can't directly connect those, so that's fine. Okay, so now we have no fuel here. Okay, wait, we actually need... so the temperature in this is gonna go down. So we need to make sure that we let this stay on for long enough. Actually, no, this should be fine as is, I think. I think this should be fine. So we're just going to let the lightning take care of it. And if the lightning can't take care of it, then we'll figure something out. Alright, so back on Novice. We are continuing to get hit all over the dang place. It's kind of hard to tell where we have actual serious problems and where it's just sort of a nuisance. That corner looks like it's just a nuisance. This area here, very, very glad we double walled that. We might even want to triple wall it, just for even more extra security. And put more laser turrets in. Alright, so that is that. Then all the rest of this is seemingly going fine. Okay, so back on Fulgora, we have rockets launching and doing their thing. Fulgora support is up to 200, 400, 600, 800. 804 science, which means theoretically one more and we'll be able to get the Quality Module 3 upgrade that we wanted. So, how is this doing? You are short on supercapacitors. Probably supercapacitors are short on green circuits. Alright, so we want to make more green circuits. Where do the green circuits even come from? The green circuits just only come from this thing over here. Okay, what if we just get a second one of you in that row? Will that even be enough? I'm going to have to run up there and use my personal inventory because we do not really have anything resembling a drone system at the moment. So we have 2 of these in. That should be theoretically twice as much green circuits, unless we run out of red circuits, which it looks like we are going to do. Alright, so that is a whole different problem now. But it is going. And the whole system is running most of the time. So that is fine by me. And let's just limit that down so that it stops producing. We do not have the resources to spare on it. So this is going, it's fully productivity moduled. The recyclers, I believe, can't be productivity moduled. Right. Yeah, cannot be used in recycler. So, nothing to worry about there. As far as power is concerned, is this still running? So this is just burning through the excess steam, I guess. So that's fine. We're probably going to have to do more complicated logic on this decider to get it to do exactly what I want it to do. Which it's going to be something along the lines of a latch, I think. So basically if the steam and the accumulators get down to 0, then we can just burn it to get those up to 100%, and then just repeat from there. Alright, so this is all still working. We're using every red circuit we get as soon as we get it, which is somewhat suboptimal. And, okay, now this is jammed. It's jammed because of concrete. So the concrete... oh, I never set you up. So you need to be greater than 4,700. Alright, so that should now loop properly. And... okay, it's only 0.8 per second, so let's make it go super fast. We've got laser weapons damage. That will probably be quite helpful. Let's queue up another laser weapons damage. Let's get those laser weapons as strong as they can be. So now this is 2.4 concrete per second, which would be pretty fast if it were going properly. So I think we do need... so I think what we need is to have that just output directly into another one of these guys. And then this one is going to do the loop back. So hopefully that will be better at keeping up. So this just makes stone and whatchamacallit, iron. And then this can quickly dismantle that. So now this is running at its full speed, which is clearly not enough. So let's get another one in. And you go like this. And more speed modules. Alright, so now we have 4.8 concrete per second getting destroyed. That has to be enough, right? And let's paste settings across so that this is also limited. Alright. So that is doing its thing. It's chugging through a whole bunch of concrete. And And hopefully that will keep up. But it does require a whole lot of speed. Alright, so that is fine. Now if we go back up to the other end, this is still producing. So that is all clear. You are output full, so you're not going to be taking many more supercapacitors. But this is still doing the whole green circuit shortage thing. Okay, there's a giant wave of red circuits going through. Which leads me to believe that, yeah, this looks like the concrete has largely caught up. It's not quite there yet, but it's basically... Okay, now it's slowed down a lot. We just got hit by a giant chunk of it, I guess. Do we need even more? Do we need even more speed? I can do even more speed. Where's a beacon? There. You get to be a beacon. This, actually, I don't have tier 3 modules for this. But there, that will get that going even faster. And there we go. Now we're looking a whole lot better. So that should be pretty much solid. The amount of walls we're losing is a bit concerning. And the amount of laser turrets we're losing as well. Alright, so this corner is... Yeah, I said earlier this corner was just getting like mildly annoyed. That is certainly not the case anymore. This is going crazy. So more laser turrets in there. And extra thick walls. So we just do something like that. And that should help us be nice and clear. So all the rest of that stuff gets built in. And I should probably also, since that's getting hit so hard, there is a significant risk of that one power pole going down. So let's get a substation a little bit back so that these guys can always be active no matter what. Okay, meanwhile, we're also getting hit hard up this side. The actual attacks themselves are much less scary, but our defenses are also much less good. So let's get that double walled, and then those extra laser turrets should handle that. And the artillery supply is still printing away. Nothing to worry about there. Up on Fulgora, we have 804 with 172 available on the planet. And it is still taking a bit of time to get these guys their green circuits they need. And the red circuits here are just like a direct out of the scrap, so there's not much we can do about that aside from, I guess, squeeze more scrap processing in. Although at this point we're belt speed limited, I think. We're either belt speed limited or very close to it. So that is fine, I guess. So these guys are making the green circuits. We could get more red circuits by cracking down blue circuits, which we might end up doing if the blue circuit demand gets low enough. Oh wait, logistics bots. We had sent some of those over, hadn't we? Yes. Almost forgot about that. Let's send those down. Let's send those modules down as well. And then we can have better of all that stuff. 100 or so is not a huge amount, but it's enough for like basic boring stuff. So let's grab those and throw them in there. And then grab those and throw them in. And there we go. So now we have plenty of logistics bots to do anything we would need to do, and we can also restock on the modules. Alright. So this should be done by now, right? Yes. We have actually just recently launched our last rocket, and it is going to make its way up. Alright, so that rocket is here now. So you can go back to Novice, and then we will queue up quality modules and send it to the front of the line, which we should be able to do. We apparently had some spare science from the previous run. So that is pretty neat. Let's check. How is this guy doing? You're just still producing blue circuits. Cool. You have a whole bunch of foundations. Cool. You seem to be able to get rid of most of your coal, which is going down here to make a whole bunch of stuff. We have a full belt of tungsten carbide now, which means that this is entirely filled up, so that's good. And we're making speed modules again. Alright. Very nice. Very, very nice. Alright, so back to Fulgora. Any new ideas on how to fix the green circuit shortage? Well, okay, we can stop breaking them down. So if green circuits are the problem, then breaking down green circuits to make what copper plates seems like a bad idea. So let's get that going. Now, how is the power going? So we still have plenty of steam built up. And I don't know whether that's going to be... I don't know how much of a problem that's going to be, but it should be fine. Alright, so this makes those, which makes these. And yeah, so that is all good. Fulgora support, meanwhile. How is this doing? It looks fine. It's dumping a whole bunch of wasted junk, which is not ideal, but not a huge problem either. I mean, it's infinite space resources, so who really cares? And once this gets back, we will be able to dump the science down to finish that off. I'm kind of surprised that it's still going at all. Just like the last couple. And it's because of the electromagnetic science, which is fine. Although the automation science is actually also not doing good, so red science... What's wrong with red science? It is just a bunch of completely unmoduled... Alright, you get speed modules, I think. You get speed modules, and actually we should just take one of you out. Yeah, let's just get you beaconed so that you can be speed and productivity moduled simultaneously. So these ones get those. We apparently don't have any speed modules on Novice, which is a bit confusing, because we definitely should. We should be importing them from Vulcanus. Okay, that power line we took out was important, apparently. And Vulcanist supports. Do you guys have speed modules? Yes, you do. And are we requesting them properly? Where's that? It's here. Yes, we are. So that should be all good. Yeah, so we just need them to show up, which will be a little bit. I don't know why we don't have them right now. I guess because of that disruption that we had earlier. Now, unfortunately, the lack of red science is going to cause some problems with our output, because now these guys are going just glacially slowly without their speed modules. So I guess just tide them over with speed module Mark IIs and then upgrade them in a bit. So there we go. Now that should be better. So these guys are producing like 1 per second, which could definitely be a lot worse. Could also definitely be a lot better, obviously. Now, is there anywhere... Yes, I can squeeze additional modules in this gap in here. So if we just take that out and pop in a beacon with speed modules, then that needs to get powered. And then with 2 of these, now we're going a little bit faster. And hopefully we can get speed modules here so we can actually make it go at a reasonable rate. Okay, Fulgora support is here. The science is cooking. Although it seems... Okay, we need to actually get rid of the spoilage in here. So you need to be a filter for spoilage. And then that gets pasted across. There's a tree there. Alright, so now we should be able to keep the spoilage that was too far back. Now we should be able to keep the spoilage out of our science, which won't matter right now, but eventually we'll be doing more agricultural science-based stuff probably, and then that will be helpful. And we need drone coverage. So let's just pop one in over there. Alright, so that is that. Science is going through. And we need our red science to go fast now, I think. Okay, Vulcanist support is here. Did it deploy its speed modules? I think it did. We're going to send even more down just in case. Alright, so now if we upgrade those, these are currently 0.58 and 0.68. They get upgraded. Now they're 1 and 0.8. Alright, that's pretty neat. You might need to be a fast inserter. I don't know. Probably not, but won't hurt. Alright, so now that is happening. Any other types of science which we are a little bit short on? So you have negatives in logistic storage. You have thousands. You have tens of thousands. You have like 300, 800, 6,000, 900, 2,000, 5,000. And electromagnetic is just all here. So what is blue science? Why are you like this? Are you just... Did I just set your storage limit lower, or... Okay, no. The blue science is just painfully slow. Because of item ingredient shortage, we can productivity module you. Bam. And what are you short on? Red circuits? Okay. So the red circuit's here. we can accelerate them. So let's just take you out and take out all of that stuff. Pop in a beacon. Speed module tier 3s. And get that power pole back. So this should help somewhat in the red circuit department. These guys will be going faster now. But the bigger question is the red circuit's up here. How are they doing? They're still going. Still doing what they can. But the module demand is super high right now, which makes sense, obviously. So that is what it is. Okay, now how did I... Why did I see like 10,000 signs for some of those? Go into here, like... military science, we have 10,000 of. Why? How is that being stored? It's going up here. Okay, it can't be this, because this is definitely not 10,000 science. So where else are we storing military science exactly? Are we like filling up buffer chests with it or something? Doesn't look like it. Alright, quality module, tier 3, researched. What does it take? Superconductors, and the other stuff. Yeah, that's not surprising. Alright. So, I think that is our main... That is our wrapping up point for the day. So, we are gonna move on now. So, basically, next stream we're gonna be back to Fulgora and... Okay, so next stream our goals are get quality modules built, then build quality loops so that we can get quality machines, then use those quality machines to rebuild Fulgora, and then probably use quality machines to rebuild like Vulcanus and Gleba and everything else as well. So that will be the goal for the foreseeable future, is getting quality up and running now that we have it unlocked. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure to stop by in the future. And that'll be that. So I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, and I alternate between Factorio and Satisfactory. I do Factorio on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Satisfactory on Tuesday, Thursday. So if you're interested in various factory building games, make sure to stop by and see what I'm streaming. And that's about it. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure to follow if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.